On the couch with Kapil.
This is the TV Today Network, and you're watching Headlines Today.
It's the celestial event of the century. India woke up to a total solar eclipse, an event that will be witnessed next in 2132.
Astronomers and tourists witness the event from Tarik 9 Bihar. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar also flocks to the best spot in the world to witness the event.
And the eclipse sparks religious fervor and frenzy across the country. Pilgrims from Allahabad, Varanasi and Kurukshetra for a holy dip.
Good morning, you're with the news on Headlines Today. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Of course, the big story that we are following here, Gaurav and me, is going to be the solar eclipse of a lifetime. But there is breaking news coming in at this point. There has been an accident at the metro site in Punjabi Bagh. Another accident, remember, in a span of just 2 months.
Well, this is in West Delhi, a girder of an under-construction metro bridge. It fell in Punjabi Bagh. One labourer has been killed.
Absolutely, the girder fell at that metro site. In fact, this accident has taken place near Zakira station in East Punjabi Bagh. This is the third accident at a metro construction site within 10 days. There are serious problems there. It seems with the DMRC, that big accident first we had seen in South Delhi in Zamrudpur, where 5 people had lost their lives, 15 people had been injured, 6 people in fact lost their lives in that accident. Just 24 hours after that, another accident, and now this in Punjabi Bagh. Our correspondent Tavleen Singh joins us on the phone line. Tavleen, first of all, bring us up to date. What exactly went wrong in Punjabi Bagh? What happened?
See, Padmaja, the incident was reported at 5:45 a.m. in the morning today, when a steel girder of the construction work that was happening at this line from Indralok to Munka, the line which was supposed to open, which was supposed to be functional from September this year. This accident happened exactly at Punjabi Bagh, and like correctly you were saying, that East Punjabi Bagh station, where a metal girder fell, and one labourer has been killed. And there were about 5-6 labourers who were working at the site at that moment. And remember, we've been speaking to DMRC also. We've asked DMRC officials also. They're also ready to talk to the media. They're saying it's nothing serious. It's not a big accident. In fact, when we spoke to Mr. Anuj Dayal, he said he has told us that the labourer already was carrying a beam, and he had an injury on his shoulder, which is why he was taken to the hospital. And he died there. But if you talk about the accident site, it is really shocking, because it's not even been 10 days. I remember today was the day when the report, the investigation report, the proper inquiry report into the Zamrudpur accident, it's 22nd day. It was 10 days back when that accident took place. Today was the day when that report was supposed to be tabled, but because of some delay, the DMRC is now saying that it will be delayed for one more day. Maybe it'll take 1 or 2 more days to table that inquiry report of the Zamrudpur accident. And this accident happens on that very day. It's a very shocking incident. But if you talk about the DMRC is saying that it's not that big an accident.
One labourer has died. It's amazing how DMRC can say it's not big. But tell us about safety norms at metro construction sites. Don't all labourers wear helmets? Don't they follow proper security and protection norms?
Absolutely, Gaurav. That's the safety norm that they're supposed to follow. From the beginning of the construction, they wear helmets. They know what to do, and there are only specific amount of laborers who work at a specific time. Because this accident again happened early morning at 5:45 a.m. There were about 5-6 laborers who were working at that particular site, just at Punjabi Bagh. And like I said, that one laborer, when that metal girder fell, died because of that, but DMRC continues to say that it was not totally because of that, because of the injury that he had previously. So there's still some clarification that DMRC needs to give, and these now it really has faces a very tough question, because even Gaurav, we know the CAG report which had come out, it also clearly said that DMRC is speeding up the process, and quality of the project, the quality of metro is going down, and this accident that had taken place clearly states that.
Absolutely. In fact, we'll talk about that report in just a bit. We will pose that question to our Bureau Chief, Sunil Jha. But Tavleen, now another question from you. Can you exactly tell us how this girder fell? How was the labourer injured? Was he trapped under the girder? What was the reason behind the girder falling? Was it a crane malfunction? What happened? Tavleen, can you hear me? All right, we'll try to get back to Tavleen in just a bit, but also with us on the phone line is Sunil Jha, Bureau Chief. Sunil, Tavleen had just brought up the point of the CAG report about how they said that certain safety standards have been overlooked in the rush to meet the deadline for the 2010 Commonwealth Games. The Chief Minister, of course, defended the DMRC. It seems that it will be very difficult for her to come up with another stout defence with this latest incident.
I think it's really shocking the way the things are happening in Metro. I think you can understand 1, 2 accidents. There were cases of isolated accidents earlier, but now what is happening is it is turning into a trend, and that's a very disturbing scenario. You cannot have accidents after accidents in various projects. One has to carry out proper security and safety checks, and also to the quality control, as you mentioned, is another major concern for the DMRC, because the way CAG talked about DMRC was not very good. They clearly said that the quality was being compromised somewhere by the contractors, and also not proper monitoring was being done. So this is again a case of a lack of monitoring, because if you monitor things carefully, things like this, accidents like this will not happen. As far as the labor is concerned, if a girder falls, the reaction time is very less. This is a question which Gaurav was posing to Tavleen. I think the reaction time is so less, Padmaja, that a labourer cannot escape, in the sense that he has to be really lucky to escape such kind of an accident. It is the responsibility of DMRC, and only DMRC, to ensure that the contractors follow the norms, safety and security norms, which it has laid out. If they don't do it,
effectively what this means is what is happening, Sunil. Is it because supervision is lax? The first 10 years of Metro, there were no accidents. The first 10 years of Metro, everything was smooth. And suddenly now these accidents are happening. Is it lack of supervision, or is this desperation to meet deadlines, to beat deadlines?
Both. I think, Gaurav, lack of supervision definitely is there, because if you walk onto you drive on the express lane between Dhaulakua and airport, which is under construction, you will see that clearly safety norms are being violated. There has to be proper barricading for the traffic to move, which is not there. I take that route almost every day, and I see that being violated very clearly. So if you take the chance, there is always a possibility of an accident, and this is a clear case of a lack of supervision, number one. And number two, there is a rush, no doubt about it. They are in a big hurry to complete the project before 2010 Commonwealth Games. So you see projects being completed within 6 months, 8 months, the speed with which they are working. We really don't know how the difference has come between the first phase and the second phase, because the first phase we saw took about 8 years for them to put the first line on track, and now the second phase, things are happening in 6 months, 1 year. I don't know how it's happening, but it's happening. And somewhere, it's both, I think. Lack of supervision, which is leading to such accidents, and a rush, which leads to a compromise of safety and security norms.
All right, Sunil, then what happens next to DMRC? It seems that through their own laxity, they are in fact threatening their own independence. Already the Transport Minister of Delhi has said that maybe the Delhi government should have a bigger say in the working of the DMRC. Certain MPs have echoed that view. It seems that that might just happen in the run-up to 2010 Commonwealth Games.
I think there has to be a body now created, which should on a day-to-day basis supervise the operation of various projects. I think it is also responsibility of Mr. Sridharan to see that not just one project where things go wrong, but all the under construction projects. The contractors have to be clearly instructed that any compromise, any accident, and you will lose your job. And if that threat is there, only then things will improve, because what is happening is that despite accidents, contractors are getting away with it. And this is a point which Gaurav has been mentioning, this is a point Taveen was mentioning, and this is a point every single person who knows the way metro railway is right now functioning will tell you that there is something seriously wrong with Delhi Metro, which needs to be put in place, and that only Mr. Sridharan, being the head of DMRC, can do it. The pressure on contractors has to go, and only then things will fall in line. What is happening right now is pretty shocking. Another accident at Punjabi Bagh, another labourer killed, and contractors, I don't think are too worried about it, because DMRC's reaction.
Why aren't the contractors worried? Why isn't action taken against contractors? We've seen that in the Lakshmi Nagar incident in the past, the contractor came back. There was hardly any penalty on him. In Jamrudpur again, the penalty is almost negligible. Why is Metro cutting corners? Why are contractors being allowed to cut corners, Sunil?
Gaurav, two reasons. One is the way you heard the reaction of Delhi Metro, initial reaction. Delhi Metro is saying that this is not a serious accident. How do you describe a serious accident? A person has been killed, a girder has fallen within few days of the accident at Jamrudpur, and you say it's not a serious accident. Now, this soft approach gives confidence to contractors to carry out a project with laxity. That's number one. Number two, they are in a hurry, as we mentioned, to complete the project ahead of Commonwealth Games, and they know they do not have too many contractors, big contractors, to carry out projects. There are very limited people who can actually bid for such projects, and that's something which is forcing Delhi Metro to depend on these contractors. I think the call also has to be taken by the central government, especially the Urban Development Ministry, under which the Delhi Metro falls, that they need to put the screws now, tighten the screws now, and they need to tell the DMRC, at any cost, you will not compromise with safety and security. Let the project get stalled. We don't care. But a call has to be taken by the central government also, I think.
For the moment, Sunil Jha, thank you very much for joining us. But let me bring in Anuj Dayal, the spokesman of the DMRC. Mr. Dayal, what can you tell us about the accident today?
This happened at 5:45 a.m. at Ashoka Park. And I would like to clarify, there's a little bit of panic in the media. There's some structural collapse and all sorts of rumors are going on. There is no collapse of any structure. What happened was one worker was hit on the shoulder by a beam which was being lifted. The worker was injured. He was taken to Agastyan Hospital, subsequently expired. That's it.
All right, Anuj, a worker is hit on the shoulder with a beam, but it leads to his death. All right, it seems that Mr. Dayal there has disconnected the phone. Of course, the DMRC is on a sticky wicket at this point. Do not want to speak too much. Of course, we'll try to bring you more reactions from the DMRC, the Delhi Metro Rail Corporation. They are answerable to the public. In Punjabi Bagh, another accident has taken place. A labourer has lost his life in this latest accident. Already in the span of 10 days, 6 people have died because of accidents at metro sites. What is going wrong with the metro rail project in Delhi? Of course, we've been asking that question all along, and we'll keep trying to look for answers. That's another big story that we will be following very closely on Headlines today. But moving on to the other big story that we are getting to you on the channel, we're talking about the eclipse of a lifetime. And yes, it was the celestial spectacle of a lifetime, wasn't it?
It indeed was. It was actually, once in a lifetime experience. The next time you're going to watch this is 134 years later. The heavens and the earth moved into a rare alignment. Just once this century, India and many parts of the world witnessed total solar eclipse today.
Absolutely. The rare spectacle lasted 6 minutes and 39 seconds. The next one will occur only in 2132. Not too many people, it seems, will be around. Not too many of us, at least, will be around to be able to witness that, because it is a full 123 years away. So it was the only chance for this generation to catch a total solar eclipse of this magnitude.
Well, a total eclipse was seen at least 15 Indian cities. Take a look. Surat, Vadodara, Bhopal, Indore, Allahabad, Varanasi, Patna, Dibrugarh, just a few of these cities where total solar eclipse occurred.
Well, the visibility was at its best in Surat and Tarigna near Patna. You can see, in fact, that graphic, the cities in which total eclipse was witnessed. A few dampeners also coming in, actually, a lot of places where weather played spoil sport, and that the diamond ring, which everyone wanted to see today morning, could not be seen because the clouds were hiding that solar spectacle from people on Earth.
Well, people in Tarigna in Bihar were disappointed, but in Varanasi, in Allahabad, they were very excited. They were very happy because they got to see that diamond ring that Padmaja was talking about. They also got to see how this sun was just being chomped up bit by bit by bit. Suddenly there was no sun, and then that magnificent diamond ring was there for the world to see.
Absolutely, and in fact that was also seen in Tawang, but of course we're talking about the weather playing spoil sport, and it happened across the country. The worst fear really of sky gazers did come true. Weather had begun to play spoil sport early in the morning, and it happened across several spots, threatening to eclipse our view of this grand celestial spectacle.
Well, Diamond City, Surat. Let's talk about Surat first. That was the first to break the ominous news of rain casting a shadow over the experience of a lifetime. Visibility dipped alarmingly. Surat was considered one of the key spots for viewing the eclipse.
And it's just not in the far west. It's raining in the far east too, in Jalpaiguri, in North Bengal, and the clouds have gathered over pilgrim centers of Haridwar and Ujjain. It rained heavily in the holy city of Haridwar, where thousands gathered for a holy dip in the Ganges.
In Madhya Pradesh, in Ujjain, it was cloudy, it was drizzling. The maximum city, which was expecting the maximum view of the eclipse, where people were very keen to see, they kept their fingers crossed. The weathermen, of course, had predicted visibility will be low with mean cloud cover of 84%. These are visuals, of course, that you see of Haridwar. It was raining, it was drizzling. People, of course, took a dip in the holy Ganges. And, of course, the ancient city of Varanasi, it hardly slept. Today, the city was awake. Several hours before dawn, thousands converged to the banks of River Ganga for the holy dip.
Absolutely. In fact, they were hoping to take a view of the total solar eclipse, and the celestial blockbuster over one of the world's most ancient city did live up to expectations. The skies were not overcast, giving a fantastic view of the diamond ring around the sun. In fact, you can see that picture. It lived up to the expectations that people had of it. There was absolute darkness for a while, and then a beautiful glowing diamond ring. All right, joining us live now are two of our reporters. Pankaj Upadhyay joins us from Surat, and also joining us from Haridwar is our correspondent Preeti Chaudhary. Preeti, to you first. Haridwar, a little disappointment. People by the lakhs had assembled in the holy city, but the diamond ring was just not to be.
Well, Padmaja, forget about the diamond ring. We didn't even get to see the sun today. Well, a huge disappointment. Not just for us, for a lot of people. And we're talking about 25 lakh people who had pretty much converged at the bank of the Ganga right here on the steps of the Ganga here in Haridwar. If I can ask my camera person to pan. But as of now, of course, the weather has indeed let up a bit in the morning because of incessant rains from 12 o'clock in midnight till the morning today. We had seen the current had, of course, gathered speed. The water levels had increased, and the water indeed was icy cold there. But now, of course, the religious fervor picking up, and we can actually see, if I can ask my camera person to show you, lots of course, devotees on the banks of the Ganga now taking a dip. The first Aarati has, of course, started in Haridwar, Padmaja. Of course, all temples had been shut till the solar eclipse. Now, the temple at Haridwar has opened out. It's been washed, cleaned, opened out to the devotees here. And, of course, religious fervor picking up pace. Padmaja.
For the moment, Preeti, thank you very much for joining us. Let me now bring in Pankaj from Surat. Pankaj, the diamond city wanted to see that diamond in the skies, but that was not to be.
Gaurav, not for the diamond ring, not for the corona, but the people of Surat were wanting to see the Bailey's bead. You know, the inverted smiley that looks absolutely spectacular, and the pictures of which were seen by the Surat people in newspapers and magazines, and that had brought them in thousands to this airport here. But as you rightly said, that was not to be. Rainfall at the same time, dark, thick clouds really played the spoil sport, and other than 2 or 3 minutes of pitch darkness and again the light coming on, other than that the people of Surat never really had much to talk about. But yes, for those 4 moments when after a little light there was absolute pitch yellow, the sky was yellow, and then it went black and there were little stars in the skies, and all of a sudden you was pitch darkness, silence everywhere, no chirpings of the birds, and people were all silent as well. They could never understand what was comprehending. Then after a minute or so, again slowly lightning dawned. There was such a beautiful moment, experience of a lifetime, and the people who were present there knew that at that point of time they had the moment that they're going to cherish for their lifetime. There were many people who had gathered since the early morning hours. You know, in fact, there were people who had gathered at the airport since 12 in the night time. And I've got one enthusiast here who is a little disappointed, but at the same time, he says, you know, he's going to cherish these memories. So, Surat inhabitant here. So, सबसे पहले अपना नाम बताइए.
हाँ, मेरा नाम है हरीश बोगरा.
आज का एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा? थोड़ा डिसअपॉइंटमेंट था क्या?
आज का एक्सपीरियंस, हम लोग तो रात से इसकी तैयारी में रहे थे और सुबह में हम लोग 5 बजे यहाँ पे आ गए और पूरा देखा तो पूरा एयरपोर्ट का माहौल पूरा भरा हुआ था. इसके बाद जो टाइम दिया हुआ था,
ये जानना चाहेंगे वो उस वक्त कैसा महसूस हुआ जब पहला लाइटिंग था, फिर अचानक सब कुछ काला हो गया, उसका फिर और रोशनी आई.
हाँ, जो शुरू में जो
All right, Pankaj Upadhyay, thank you very much for getting us that enthusiastic person from Surat. Of course, a little disappointed, but they're still saying that this is a memory they will cherish for a lifetime. With that, we'll have to slip into a very short break on our special coverage, but much more coming ahead for you on this bulletin, where we'll get you what really this solar eclipse means, not just for us, but also for the scientific community. That discussion coming up in just a bit, but also we'll get you a very different perspective of the total solar eclipse. Our correspondent Akash Banerjee gets you a perspective from 41,000 feet above the earth. Wondering what it looks like? We'll tell you in just a bit.
Missed it. When you were getting ready, you missed it. When you were driving to work, you missed it. When you were making a presentation, you missed it. And you missed it when you were driving back home. Now don't miss it. News through the day from all around in a nutshell. Tune into Headlines Tonight with Saka Jacob. Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. Only on Headlines Today.
At the end of the day, style does matter. Indigo CS.
He is blind in real life, but will see in real life.
मिशन तो पूरा होगा.
बिनानी सीमेंट, ख्वाबों को एक चेहरा दे. बिनानी सीमेंट, सदियों के लिए.
आज रात 10 बजे स्टार 1 पर.
तू जो कहे दिन तो मुझे लगे रात, बोलो अब कैसी है ये शुरुआत,
जिनके अलग हो रास्ते बात, कैसे चले साथ साथ, दोनों है अलग अलग,
मंजिल अपनी जुदा जुदा, रब ने मिलाया जो हमको तो रब ही मिलाए रास्ता।
हम दोनों हैं अलग अलग, आज रात 10 बजे Star 1 पर।
मजबूरी एक ही बार होती है, अगली बार नहीं। गैम्बलिंग में भरोसा नहीं, लक चलता है।
राघव ब्लाइंड खेलता है, सामने वाले को डबल आना पड़ता है।
An audacious attack that shook the nation. For 60 days, the men in olive battled on icy peaks against grave odds. Headlines today's Gaurav Sawant covered the war from the front line. 10 years on, he returns to see if India has learnt its lessons, because we cannot forget Kargil. Special coverage all through the day on July 26th, only on Headlines Today.
Welcome back. We've shown you visuals from the ground. Let's now show you something different. Of course, these are visuals from the sky, from 41,000 feet in a jet. This is our colleague Akash Banerjee showing you the solar eclipse from the skies.
Absolutely flying above the clouds at a height of 41,000 feet. Akash Banerjee went chasing the eclipse. Several parts of the country could not see the total solar eclipse because of the cloud cover. But Akash Banerjee, he did not have to worry about any of that. He was on board a special jet that was chasing the eclipse right across the country. And what a spectacular view.
These are the first visuals of the solar eclipse coming to you from an altitude of 41,000 feet. Remember, the Indian Air Force flew a Mirage 2000 fighter jet from Gwalior all the way up to Arunachal Pradesh to shoot the solar eclipse at this altitude. The Indian Air Force also flew an AN-32 aircraft with scientists on board to film the eclipse. And of course, there was a private jet aircraft which also went up, and this private aircraft had our correspondent Akash Banerjee from an altitude of 41,000 feet getting you that solar eclipse above the cloud cover, far above the cloud cover. This is a Headlines Today exclusive.
Absolutely. In fact, that special flight which took off and chased the solar eclipse right across the country, it meant a lot of money as well. People were willing to shell out as much as 80,000 rupees to be on board that special aircraft to be able to go and look at this view of the solar eclipse.
And in a moment, we'll take you to Akash Banerjee. He was on board this special aircraft at 41,000 feet. But let me bring you down to the ground once again. Let me take you to Kurukshetra, to Rohit Singh, my colleague. Rohit, thousands and thousands came to Kurukshetra for that holy dip at the time of the eclipse.
Absolutely, Akash. It was supposed to be a partial solar eclipse in Kurukshetra. But that did not deter any devotees from coming here. At least what the figures have been given to us by the government, more than 15 lakh people have come here today, and they are taking a holy dip right now. The partial solar eclipse, which began at 5:35 in Kurukshetra, could not be seen just because of the cloud cover till at about 6:20. And at about 6:20, when the sky cleared, people got to see the partial solar eclipse till about for about 1 hour till 7:20, and now the eclipse is over, but still people are thronging this place. They are taking the holy dip, they are washing away their sins, and because it's a saying here in Kurukshetra that if you take a holy dip on the occasion of a solar eclipse in a day, then that will wash away your sins and you'll attain moksha. So
All
still
right, so
people are
hoping to
thronging
attain
this
a
place
moksha
right now.
after the holy dip in Kurukshetra. Thank you very much, Rohit, for joining us. But of course, we're taking you back to those spectacular visuals taken from 41,000 feet above the earth. Akash Banerjee was on board that special flight. Akash, no questions. Just describe to us what really you went through over the last few hours. Are you still catching your breath?
Oh, well, just now I heard moksha being talked about. That's exactly the feeling that the passengers had on this board, this very special flight. Moksha, the feeling of absolutely divinity, because, you know, at 41,000 feet, there was not a single cloud to disturb your view. It was absolutely pitch dark, and the sun with the corona visible from the outside. Such a magnificent view. Even our cameras could not do justice. Although we tried the best of cameras with the best of techniques, we couldn't do justice to the kind of spectacle that we saw. We took off dotted time 4:45 from New Delhi airport, headed towards Bihar, Patna. And then we did encounter a few clouds, as a matter of fact, just before the solar eclipse. We took a little bit of a detour, and then for 4 minutes we had complete total solar eclipse. Our cameras managed to get some of the best shots possible. I've landed back in Delhi now, and I can see that the city is overcast. We did not have that kind of a problem. You can very well see the kind of visuals that we got for you.
Okay, take us through what happened right from the beginning. You got to the airport, you got into the aircraft, and then what? What was the feeling like? There were lots of enthusiasts with you on that flight. There were some scientists, I'm told, on this flight. It was a rather expensive flight, 79,000 per ticket.
Gaurav, you're absolutely right. There was a little bit of a concern earlier, but those 79,000 rupees were well worth it. We asked so many passengers, and I'll get you those opinions of passengers. They're saying that it was worth every paise, because such a thing you can only see once in a lifetime, and this indeed is an eclipse of a lifetime. We reached the airport. The time was 3:15, reporting time well in advance. Hardly could sleep the night. Then, of course, there was a detailed security check because we were carrying a lot of equipment. So that equipment, of course, was checked in detail by the CISF. But it seems that Space and Fox and Kings had actually done a lot of groundwork, because amazingly, we were allowed to shoot inside the Delhi airport. We were allowed to shoot inside the flight. And when we landed back, we actually had a group photograph outside. So a very well-organized tour. One must say that on record. But yes, once we took off, it was absolutely cloudy in the capital. Then we went above the clouds, and then we started our eclipse run. As soon as we were going to start our eclipse run, near Patna, 30 kilometers above the Patna airspace, we encountered some high clouds. Even at an altitude of 41,000 feet, we did encounter some clouds, and there were moments of concern that those 79,000 rupees will go to waste. But then the pilot very smartly took a detour, and then we cut down on viewing time by about 20 seconds, but still about 4 minutes of pure ecstasy. You know, Gaurav, you can't, the camera, I'm sure you're playing out the shots that I'm sending you from the airport as of now, but the camera couldn't just capture the sheer brilliance, because, you know, it is so sharp. I spoke to so many people on board, as you very well pointed out. There were experienced eclipse watchers, people who have seen 10 eclipses from the ground, and they're saying that those 10 were worth nothing compared to what they saw from 41,000 feet, because there is no atmospheric distortion, there is no pollution, there is no cloud cover. It is absolutely pitch clear, and no camera, they are saying, in the world can capture the sheer clarity, the sheer brilliance of that eclipse from that height. Of course, there is a whole lot of challenge trying to photograph or videograph an eclipse from a moving platform, which is moving at about point Mach 5, which is moving at 41,000 feet. But we are still, I'm sure, getting you the best visuals in the house.
We can imagine, but Akash, tell us, just describe to us that moment when you saw the first point of contact, when you could see that the solar eclipse has just begun. What happened on board that special aircraft? Did you hear gasps going up among all the people in that aircraft?
You said it, Padmaja. There were not only gasps, but there was clapping, there was cheering. As soon as the pilot announced that there are 20 seconds left for the final eclipse run, that means basically the plane would be flying at 90 degrees perpendicular to the sun, which will give one side of the plane complete vantage viewing of the eclipse at an angle of 30 degrees. That means you just look out of your window and there you have the eclipse. You don't have to even crane your neck. So once that announcement was made, everybody made a rush to the windows. And yes, you had a few people who accommodated too in a window, although, well, you could have refused anybody the permission to do so. What we saw then was something that can only be described as sheer brilliance. Slowly and slowly, the moon gradually ate up the sun. And we were, of course, very, very careful. We had to use darker filters than Earth also, because at 41,000 feet, the shine, the brilliance of the sun is much more. So